Alhamdulillah at that young age I excel baca Quran, khatam Quran dulu. Bila orang tanya, insyaAllah lah I nak jadi ustaz lah kalau dah besar.
Where did you go wrong?
Something suddenly trigger I. Mak cakap, you just need to make one decision in life. Nak ikut ayah atau nak ikut ibu. So my sibling ada yang dah dibawa ke mahkamah syariah, tapi I hilang, I cabut. That is where I meet all those wonderful street brothers. Kita even declare mati hidup sama-sama lah.
They give you the attention, you become important.
Even when budak lagi, the recruitment yang I ada tu overwhelming.
How were you caught?
To be honest, my incarceration period since the early age of 12 years old. Yang last I kena for writing tu, I was on the run lah.
Kita tahu bahawasanya semua manusia tu dilahirkan sempurna dan hampir sama. Jadi bila kita lihat daripada konteks orang bayi tu, tangisan tu adalah sama-sama. Ada dilahirkan dari Singapura ataupun dilahirkan di Asia, dilahirkan dari Barat. Tangisan itu adalah sama. Namun cara kita dibesarkan adalah satu perkara yang berbeza. Tak semua manusia tu dicipta untuk lahir dalam keadaan di mana everything is like a little prince. Disebabkan dunia ni dicipta sebagai berpasang-pasangan. Jadi bila ada orang dibesarkan dalam sebuah taman, ada yang harus mengimbangi dengan dibesarkan dengan suasana keras, suasana yang liar gitu. Dalam taman tu semuanya indah. Tapi bila kita berada di luar taman atau kita berada di dalam kawasan belantara ni, kita harus belajar untuk berdikari and have self-defense. Sebab kalau kita tak pandai jaga diri, kita juga akan rebah dan dibaham. Dan bila kita besar dalam keadaan yang macam ni, kadang-kadang kita melakukan kesilapan. Jadi kita bersama dengan seorang yang pernah melakukan kesilapan, menjalani pemulihan. Jadi kini dia kembali untuk membantu yang lain agar jangan melakukan kesilapan. Kalau buat pertama kali jatuh, itu adalah kesilapan. Tapi kalau jatuh di tempat yang sama dengan kesilapan yang sama tu, itu adalah satu masalah yang besar. Jadi ini kisah perubahan, ini kisah pengampunan, ini kisah tentang kembali ke pengajaran bersama dengan Sahari Jumaat. Selamat datang kepada Keep It Coming. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you. Keep It Coming. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First and foremost, thank you for the invitation. Alhamdulillah. Seperti mana tadi abang ada cakap, sometimes we are not on the greener side when we come to this world. Kita semua tahu yang tak ada siapa pun yang boleh nampak masa depan masing-masing. Sepanjang perjalanan air nak membesar tu, many other people that are not familiar faces start to be your friend, start to be your family. That's the point where choices kita dah start buat dalam kita punya hidup.
Mungkin Ayi boleh cerita sikit tentang how do you grow up? Kat mana you grow up?
Kampung Isun. So I was brought up, Alhamdulillah, dikelilingi arwah ibu, ayah yang masih hidup, Alhamdulillah sekarang. Including me, 6 sibling, 6 adik-beradik. Ai is nama gelaran, memang daripada kecil diberikan oleh family. So Sahari Jumaat is the second among the sibling. So if I can share a little bit is during kita punya proses membesar tu, abang is just 3 tahun tua je.
Okay.
So adik gap semua tak jauh-jauh. So bila nak membesar tu, I dah start have that feeling from that oriented family setup yang kita ada tu, ada satu benda yang kurang attention. Because abang mesti nak didahulukan dulu, because dia yang sulung. Example, this is what I nampak. Ayah ibu akan give tuition, macam betul-betul berkobar-kobar. Bila abang tu always nak memulakan something new. Then for Ai pula, then bila pula so bila I nak go into my stage, ada adik. So dia macam bukan stuck, tapi I have to give in.
Dia macam the middle child syndrome lah. Antara yang besar dengan yang bongsu kan. Kita dekat tengah-tengah gitu kan.
Saya macam gitu.
Dulu hidup susah tak?
Nak cakap susah is that part lah. Bila kita dah start to go through education stage where all these thing memang dah involve dengan kewangan. So that part kita memang ada struggle lah.
Dia makan pakai cukup tapi dia tak mewah lah.
If I can share, waktu dulu kan TV black and white. Okay. So bila kita pindah rumah estate, people dah start beli TV warna. So I clearly remember where my dad and mum bersepakat lah, macam nak surprisekan anak-anak. At least apa tahu, kita tak ada hi-fi, radio set, wah tak apa, kasih budak-budak tonton TV yang ada colour. As long as what they taught us, jangan sampai kita meminta atau kita pergi kat rumah orang macam nampak sangat diri kat gate nak tengok TV, you know.
Ada satu istilah ni, kita ni boleh miskin tapi kita jangan murah.
Betul.
Something like that. I think that is a good upbringing and a good culture lah. I'm very sure kan, saya sendiri tak boleh lari daripada rasa cemburu.
Betul.
Dia ni lebih pandai, dia ni lebih bagus, lebih lawa. So what is your coping mechanism
when my abang have all that in general education, I go another way. I was proving lah to arwah ibu dengan my dad yang I can excel in religious.
Oh, okay.
So bila abang dah ada position kat sana, kira ngaji I nak angkat lah. So ayah ibu alhamdulillah pun ada masukkan kita kelas mengaji, ada hantar pergi madrasah. So alhamdulillah I reach at a certain level. That's why I say that actually I rasa anugerah. They have been doing their part as a parent. Cuba kita ada yang something yang insufficient lah.
So at that age, you know that kalau aku tak dapat ni, ini aku punya alternative. So you are equipped dalam bidang ukhrawi lah kiranya.
Alhamdulillah at that young age, I excel baca Quran, khatam Quran dulu.
So that's happiness for you. Dalam adik-beradik 6, dapat attention diberikan pada yang lain. Excel dekat dalam madrasah ni, it's actually happiness for you.
I also told myself during that point of time, bila orang tanya, insyaAllah lah, I nak jadi ustaz lah kalau dah besar, kalau boleh. Gitu.
Amin.
I have all that thing yang I dah actually focus on. But sejujurnya, we don't know our future yet.
Betul.
I belum nampak itu masa depan. Pasal itu part belum ada pergaulan. Ya, itu masih indah lagi lah. Family masih oriented.
Jadi your parents work very hard to make sure that anak-anak dia macam mana pun diberikan kesempurnaan yang semampunya lah.
Yes. As a family, satu je yang I ingat. Kalau macam mana apa-apa pun jadi, always remember that we are family oriented. Kalau ada whatever misunderstanding, problem, walaupun kita tak suka macam mana pun, antara satu kita tengok ada lebih, ada kurang, still remember that we are their precious lah. Ayah tetap sayang kita, arwah ibu tetap sayang kita, sama juga. It's just that maybe I start to understand yang situation tak mengizinkan for everybody to get example, abang dapat pencil box besi, I dapat pencil case yang biasa.
Yang plastik tu kan, yang translucent.
Abang punya kira besi macam style ya.
Tak ada rasa cemburu ke?
Cemburu bila tengah tidur alih-alih arwah ke ayah bawa abang keluar. I bangun sebenarnya tak ada. Itu cemburu tak ada.
Okay. At what point, at what age you dah mula campur?
Start when I believe it's an adult issue lah between my parent lah. That one point dalam rumah tangga mereka tu, things ada get tension. Itu budak lagi. I ingat lagi lah, ayah waktu tu dah balik kerja, mungkin dia penat, taking his nap ke apa. Tiba-tiba ada satu time ni, dia wake up, dia tengok kat kita. Tak tu kira mungkin kita main bising ke apa ke, atau don't know what, just what happened. Look at us, lama sikit, dia scan. Then look at my mom. He personally confessed, aku nak cerai. My 6 sibling baru usia 2 bulan. That is the thing yang I terus nampak, wow, apa tu cerai? Apa maksud ayah? Then we start to see the changes in the house. Kita nampak perbezaan, dia tidur bilik berasingan. Then that is why kita macam dengar ayah nak kena pergi sini, ibu nak kena pergi sini. Dan suddenly kita nampak macam ada orang dah start datang rumah. All the process of divorce, I dah nampak depan mata tu. So bila satu hari tu nak pergi madrasah, something suddenly trigger ayah. Nak pergi madrasah ni, my uncle datang. My uncle cakap, today I'm bringing you to a place. So to be honest, that place is Mahkamah Syariah. So dia kata, bila sampai sana, just don't think negative. You just need to make one decision in life. So, buat decision decision apa? Orang tu akan tanya, nak ikut ayah atau nak ikut ibu. So what's next? I became, okay boleh, try cabut. So my sibling, ada yang dah dibawa ke Mahkamah Syariah. Waktu tu ingat lagi kat Thomson lama kan. Tapi I hilang, I cabut. I sanggup, dah sampai, turai lari turun tu bukit, I disperse.
Because you are just angry or you just confused?
I all the while, I boleh tahan. I boleh simpan, I boleh accept. And as you mentioned, I dah well equipped. Tapi ini benda ni, I tak ready. Because I know that daripada segi materi is, I still need both parent lah dalam hidup bayi lah. So when they make that decision in life, benda lain pula yang kasih I trigger. Oh, ni macam ke orang dewasa boleh buat decision tiba-tiba macam gini? No, doesn't think of the feeling. So I berfikir pun, then I can also make my own decision lah. Madrasah ke mana, pelajaran ke mana. So, yalah, I start to live my life as I mentioned. Start my survival kit lah. people saw me legit at that age 11 sampai 12 years old tu, tengah petik tauge kat Geylang, kepala putung tauge tu, just to earn for myself lah. Habis orang macam cakap lah, kenapa tak balik, kenapa gini. I just told them yang I don't want to live with either my late mom atau my dad. Orang ada cari air, orang ada lost a report pasal missing person lah, semua gebak-gerebuk. I just feel yang tak mau berbual dulu lah, because why, I still cannot overcome that thing. Suddenly people cakap dengan I, you need to make that decision in life, nak ikut mak ke nak ikut ayah. Pasal I tak boleh bezakan dorang punya kasih sayang, dan I tak nak put fault ke any one of them.
Do you think now setiap perceraian tu mangsa dia ialah anak-anak?
At the end of the day, how we perceive it. Waktu tu I can say yes, the after plan. Seandainya they are not together, no, you are still, tu conversation kita tak ada. Through that hardship lah, I learn how to jujur bercakap, to appreciate ataupun kedepankan orang dulu sebelum diri sendiri. I started to develop all those kind of feelings. So at the age of 11, 12, I can say that I start to think as an adult.
So bila you tak balik rumah, you duduk mana?
Duduk dengan mak angkat. Tapi kelakar dia, mak angkat ni pun broken family. Lagi husband dia pun memang being incarcerated. Ada anak semua. Just because that I feel that anak dia dengan I maybe ada persamaan. That is where we develop that brotherhood. So nak ikutkan situasi I dengan dia. Kalau aku balik sekarang, buat apa? Adik-adik masih ramai. Tak apalah, biar aku berteman dengan orang, atau they can give me more of their time with me. So I sibuk-sibuk lah dengan keluarga angkat ni yang I boleh rasa family lah.
And they embraced you?
They embrace me. Even the father ataupun the husband is being incarcerated, I boleh ikut teman pergi prison. So macam ini pula jadi I punya family.
Now when you look back in retrospect, is it attention or you need love?
During that point of time is, I can say that attention lah. Remember I told you our family is family oriented. Love, no problem. Tapi to attention, macam cakap, daripada kecil tu, bila I nak excel, start with something, abang dapat dulu. After that, adik-adik pula dapat dulu. Macam I ni tak dinampak. Macam, hello, tak nampak ke?
They didn't know any better.
I just put it yang their methodology during that point of time, my grandparents' upbringing towards them as my parent, is not advanced yet lah.
So you forgive them lah?
Secara jujur, I tak pernah letak grudges dengan orang. Even when I being incarcerated, I did send personal letter to arwah ibu. I did send personal letter to ayah. And I tell you, whatever ayah pernah buat to me, it is his own issue dengan my mom. I have to give in yang only he knows the reason. Kenapa the relationship tak boleh go on. Whatever ayah melalui dia jalan hidup, to me, he is outstanding. He is even my role model.
Kembali daripada apa yang saya cakap. Keluarga sendiri ada kasih sayang. Keluarga mak angkat ada perhatian. If you have love, then you have attention, then where did you go wrong?
Bila I still feel that kita tahu itu bukan our original family. Kita tetap akan ada tu perasaan yang kita menumpang. That's why Alhamdulillah kenapa I kerja waktu tu, walaupun petik tauge tunggu bakul penuh, dapat gaji $25 jadilah kan. Lepas tu masuk curi-curi kerja car wash. Kita polis masuk, I cabut masuk toilet lama-lama. Initially, I have to pay for that family punya utilities, beli barang dapur.
Tak free pun lah.
Tak free pun. Tu pasal orang cakap, kenapa tak balik, kenapa tak gini. Because I know, I balik, family will still accept. Tapi what for, I get the love, but I don't get the attention. Tapi with you guys, macam, I baru balik kerja, padahal budak lagi tu. Tapi macam baru balik kerja, how's your day, gini, you get that kind of attention. Tapi you know that ini semua tumpangan kasih sayang. So where go wrong is when I see that at the end of the day, they also need their own family time. So tak apalah, you all enjoy lah, I keluar.
I see. Diorang tak buang, but you know that you are an outsider at the end of the day. Itu pada usia 12-13 tahun.
Betul.
So you felt that. So emotionally it's already riding high lah.
I also respect lah rumah orang. Kadang kalau my friend ni ada, baru I ikut balik. Kalau dia memang kat rumah, I daripada kerja baru I balik. Tu yang dia punya space tu ada. Duduk bawah dulu, hold back jalan-jalan kat luar dulu. So that is where I meet all those wonderful street brothers. Itu time yang I ada tu space tu is another set of people in my life yang I jumpa.
Sebenarnya just in between nak balik rumah mak angkat ni, you have space to fill up that void.
Betul.
Cuma members yang dia punya upbringing yang berbeza lah.
Berbeza.
How long you campur dengan keluarga nombor 3?
The relationship doesn't last long, but the experience and lesson last long. At that early stage, with my survival bag yang I ada, mana-mana I pergi tu, nak campur dengan orang luar ni, the very first thing yang kita nak kena ada dalam diri kita is menunjukkan kebolehan kita.
Mesti nak kena ada rasa itu warrior punya
Warrior feel. So at that small age, dia kira kalau gelaran nama dah macam-macam.
Antaranya apa?
Air fighter.
Ganas lah. Ganas.
Budak betul lah. Budak betul kan. Dapat ni budak kecil lagi dia. Macam-macam lah. Air fighter, air devil, air samurai. Macam-macam lah nama.
Because you need to prove your worth to be with them.
Yes, correct. Because these people dia ada timing apa. Kalau waktu ni, jumpa. Waktu ni semua turun padang. Then bila kita ni, you nampak from different family background or walk of life, ada yang family can just give them everything, tapi they still part of the third family.
I see.
Yang air campur. Ada family memang worsen daripada keluarga angkat. Yang biasa-biasa pun ada.
Now bila kita tengok, toxic. But during that time,
it's brotherhood.
Happy lah.
It's happy. Satu go, semua go. Habis satu stay, semua tunjuk kehebatan lah.
And they respect you because of your bravery.
To me, to be honest, from that age until my early 20s, okay, inclusive of my incarceration period, whatever crime that I involved with them, simple theft, rioting, illegal gathering, anti-vices activity, they are the people yang bagi I is genuine. Tak tahu apa.
They give you the respect, they give you the attention, you become important.
This term is always being used, jiwa. Even if I don't have anybody, kalau we don't talk about the uniform kira baju lah.
Ya, baju.
Tetap aku akan jiwa kau. So I embrace and brought up by the word jiwa, loyalty and brotherhood. So even kadang I told myself, if these are not the people, but they are just a normal friend, if they come with this ethic juga, loyalty and brotherhood, untuk apa-apa pun I akan bikin tu. Dia macam tiba-tiba dia klik dengan kita punya nurani kita. Kirakan macam tak kisahlah apa nak jadi lah. Kita boleh satu hati cakap macam itu. Tak kisah apa je jadi. Kena lah. So all those kind of word dia dah macam interlock among kita. We have that group of brothers that kita even declare mati hidup sama-sama lah. Kita
you
family.
would die for each other.
We would die for each
Maknanya
other.
contoh, kalau lah I hurt your friend, I have to face you.
Correct. Satu perjanjian dia is mak kau, mak aku. Family kau, family aku lah. Macam gitulah.
Just like how you see in the movies lah.
Yes, correct.
What are the biggest thing you have sacrificed for your third family?
When the crime that ataupun kesilapan kita buat tu, kita tak pauto lah, tak tembak lah. I think everybody will hold on to that pegangan.
Rela mati kan?
Rela mati. Kira tuan nak tahu, tuan pergi check sendiri. Continue with your investigation, but nothing will come more or less from me. Because we know that the family is not only the family, kita punya family besar. Kita punya family ada family kat luar, ada family kat dalam.
So you tak betray, walaupun dah kena pukul, bantai, bokok, atas, bawah.
I remember sampai bawah meja lah, kena sampai dia panggil strip, dia panggil just dengan only my undergarments. Aircon buka besar-besar dengan satu air sejuk kan, satu jug dia tuang kan. I cakap, ini urat semua dah tak boleh angkat ni kan, my muscle semua dah tak boleh angkat kan. Nak cakap tak? Siapa lagi? Pun nak cakap pun tahu. Tak ada tuan. Macam mana pun nak kira to that extent lah. I feel that kalau hari ni aku tak buat this thing, hopefully orang pun takkan buat aku. Because I believe is everybody is a sinner. Semua orang ada buat kesilapan. Sama ada kena tangkap ke tak kena tangkap. To me, during that point of time, apa yang I nampak is I still have many siblings that can look after my parent. I still have the love yang family I akan ada untuk I, but I don't get the attention. So I sacrifice that.
And the importance.
Okay.
So, pukul orang, perasaan dia macam mana?
Daripada kecil, pia geram, rasa dapat lepaskan lah.
So, that's when you want to defend your third family kan. But, bila you terima dan you tak boleh balas balik ni, what goes through your mind? How do you control the anger inside?
This one, I have to say that we have to go back to religious lah.
During that time, when you are being arrested, religion comes into play.
Religion come to play. Memang orang kata macam mana elak pun tetap kena agak. So dah tak boleh lari pada kadar dan kadar.
So you know your time has arrived.
Boleh rasa bila I dah pulang balik Singapore, kan orang panggil tu tempat island. Some of them macam cakap balik, sebelum yang kau kena tu memang kita realize kau macam dah lain. Perangai dah macam,
You feel it coming.
it's just a feeling. And I made up with a friend. I ada cakap dengan dia yang if nothing happen, besok kita jumpa kat sini. I remember I cakap dengan tu orang, if nothing happen to me, we will meet here kat Ang Mo Kio MRT control station. I macam nak buat satu confession kenapa aku jadi macam gini. To be honest, my incarceration period since the early age of 12 years old, I have been to various homes yang ada lah kat Singapore ni. During that point of time yang last I kena for rioting tu, I was on the run lah basically.
So the crime that you did sebelum you kena pemulihan ni, what crime is that?
That is the small test yang I cakap illegal gathering . The illegal gathering and also simple theft.
So nama naik.
Nama naik.
Jadi dah kena PG lah. Dah kena PG. Then you are on the run.
On the run.
How were you caught?
I have this significant tattoo lah with me lah, which symbolize something lah. The uniform. So when they do the background check, bila dah betul-betul patah balik station tu, when dah tukar short pants, baju riman kan. So bila diorang dah nampak, baru diorang retract balik. Diorang kata, actually you are the one lah, kita nak kau lah. I thought it just ended at one station. Kali dia transfer pergi yang bigger station. Rupanya the secret society wants me.
Kalau you kira pengikut, cakap ini kita boleh makan. Tapi ni kalau you ada pangkat, lagi susah nak cari. So kalau 1 sampai 10 be having the biggest power, during that time, your power is at number berapa?
I'm influential at that stage. Even when budak lagi, the recruitment yang I ada tu, overwhelming lah.
You pegang berapa ramai orang during that time?
Masya Allah. If I can say that, 10 lah.
And semua you boleh ikat dalam satu genggam gitu lah. Orang dengar kata lah.
Regardless of age lah. Even some yang usia pada I, even twice as old as me. Because of maybe lah, I punya ketegasan I, cara. Because I believe nak jahat, nak baik, cara mesti nak kena cukup. Cara perfahaman kita dalam this trade, kita punya adab and tertib lah. I really terus divert everything yang I ada pada diri I, even to this thing, to make it macam jiwa tu betul-betul jiwa. When I was first introduced ataupun start ni benda, there's this particular person, the seniors cakap dengan I, kau duduk mana? North North mana? Yishun Aku kasih kau ni macam petang kan, kau buka kau sendiri percabang. And I really took it.
Umur berapa tu?
If I boleh cakap umur 14, 15.
Oh. Aku lagi belajar lagi.
And during that point of time when kita buat pasal perjalanan baju, you can really see how the procedure, protocol. So kalau macam sekarang I ask budak, macam mana kau pakai baju? They can just give any reasons lah. Macam orang panggil duduk lepak, lepas tu suddenly pakai baju. My time is like betul-betul macam I go through the face yang buku 5-5 kecil, then they start asking for kita pay address. So I say, apa saya minta address semua? Oh, kalau kau kena apa-apa, kita tahu macam nak bail kau. And Alhamdulillah, I boleh cakap Alhamdulillah tau. It happened. When this thing happen to our family atau our brothers, it is not the family yang datang, it is this family yang datang.
They saved you.
They saved me.
They protected you.
Protect me.
Which means at the age of 15 or at the age of 12, 13, 14 ni, selain daripada jadi panglima berani, you showed leadership quality. Now, bila you look back, what kind of leadership that you have? Sebab kalau usia 15 boleh pegang puluhan orang, apa yang you buat sampai semua orang boleh dengar kata ni?
I think the words yang buat orang terus macam, he give out a command nak kena dengar.
Do you perasan tak during that time?
Itulah masalah dia. Because when you mention about this, legit when I bawa my secondary days punya rioting, it was over, I can remember 40 over. Budak-budak sekolah pun berani terjun botol. Air ada hal lah. Toleh belakang, bro.
What kind of leader were you?
Walaupun ada salah persefahaman, you can see me burst into anger. Tapi I akan be the one yang akan cakap, mungkin hari ni lagi baik pada hari semalam. Kita tak expect that thing can happen. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. I am the sort of person yang kalau boleh memang biar I dilukai rather than someone being hurt.
Pernah tolak any of your ahli tu yang minta tolong, kata no, kau boleh jalan?
The thing about me, I tak tahu macam nak buang orang. So even if they have been groomed by my influence, I would rather they go lagi tinggi daripada I. Even if they are the one who feel that this journey kita dah tak boleh together, I rather they say straightforward. I will tell them focus on what you want to focus rather than I terus feel yang aku nak kena buang kau.
So which means walaupun diorang nak cari hala sendiri, you still become friends.
Yes, maybe because of that pun yang buat orang still have that mutual respect dengan I. Mungkin.
But then again, selalunya bila kita dengar kalau masuk susah nak keluar, is it a myth, is it true, or is it just hearsay?
Bagi I is sometimes orang tu dengan kita dia ada masa dia, and sometimes when they have something in their life pula, kita pun nak kena kasih orang punya masa pula. Fair enough. There is no such thing as a leader, I terus genggam you, then you cannot go already. Our intention, brotherhood, loyalty is not to hurt. We want to protect.
And you also very forgiving, if I can rangkumkan.
Yes, abang. Part of my journey as a Mahrid mentor, if this youth, this former member have that kind of situation, tak apa, gua terus cakap. Kira apa tak, I boleh terus cakap ni benda.
Mari kita bicarakan tentang you punya resetting mood.
Okay.
Bila you dah kena tahan, nak bawa kepada pusat pemilihan, diorang cakap, okay, you are the one that we want. Berapa lama dalam pusat pemilihan?
Dalam 3 years, sebelum I balik tu, something struck me lah. Bila dalam pemilihan tu, benda yang tak bikin pun alali kena interview. Just because of the budak-budak lah.
Do you feel masa you kat dalam dah kena tangkap, ada yang kat luar aniaya sebab dorang kena pujuk untuk tulis nama?
Atau maybe I letak diri I lagi is dah masa dia lagi lah.
Yeah.
Because as being loud to say that maybe due to my influence, these people tak boleh stop. So this is the accountability yang I nak kena ambil. Tapi on another side, we are talking about ananya betrayal.
Dalam istilah orang Melayu, kurang hajar orang buat macam ni.
Kurang hajar, tapi
aku dah piara kau buat aku macam ni.
Alali orang datang interview, kau tahu dia, sekarang dia cakap kau punya nama, aduh.
Jadi bila kita dalam proses pemulihan ni, baginda Rasulullah kita cakap, letakkan diri kamu dalam suasana orang baik-baik. Itu dia punya, kata environment will play a part. Environment changes you. Jadi dalam pemilihan ni, saya tahu kat sana you ada spiritualnya, you ada dia punya dailynya. But tak semua orang terima hidayah ni. What triggers that point of change?
6 months before nak balik tu, diorang ada cakap dengan I, because they know our background record, case file kita. They say that my aftercare plan, they will assign this individual to follow up. Because I was involved with secret society lah. When you kena secret society activity atau anti-vice, you akan dipantau walaupun you are released. Because people know that budak-budak akan ambil kau, ataupun when you go out, orang akan datang balik ke kau, cakap let's do this one more time. So apa yang dihantarkan pada I adalah this particular person, dia masuk, dia declare himself yang he is actually from Bandung Crime Unit and he is meant to be engaged dengan I lah. So I cakap, kasih aku fikir dulu lah. Pasal environment dia tu macam 6 bulan tu lagi lama, jangan datang dulu. So when I patah balik upon meeting dia, I re-analyze balik environment yang currently tu kat dalam. Merata-rata lah when you talk about ada sentuhan agama, ada all this counselling kat dalam. I nampak dua hala lah. Sebahagian yang pun ada remorse, sebahagian yang regret. So this thing actually one of my tagline lah. Remorse not regret. So bila I nampak orang yang remorse ni, to me they are more genuine. Orang yang regret ni, they will keep saying, tapi action dia less. So yang remorse ni, I can go in depth. Macam cakap, kenapa Ji? Aku terima lah Ji, aku dah kena macam gini, tapi macam mana? No, the way orang akan sampaikan tu is more about consequences less, tapi kesal dia tu banyak. Orang yang regret ni, maaf cakap dia akan cakap, sway aku kena. Dia cara regret tu, majority apa kata, itu bukan hari aku lah. Dia masih, what I learn in holistic pula, takdir tu dia masih tak boleh terima. So bila I duduk, I analyse, the next visit this particular individual masuk dalam, I tak promise apa-apa. I cakap I will give it a try. Kalau aku balik nanti, let me be the one yang akan cari kau. Kau jangan cari aku lepas ni. So actually I did have convo lah with this particular person. Nama dia Bro Fadil lah. So he is my mentor since then. And the one who back him up is the higher tuan lah. Because diorang nampak these people yang nampak budak ni daripada kecil, dia tiba-tiba jadi macam gini. At the early age of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 sampai I nak masuk ni, tiba-tiba dia meletup jadi macam gini. And he have this figure, they have this identity, and he can lead. Potential ni dia kata, kalau betul-betul dah boleh jadi Malay community leader ni orang kata. Tapi cara yang salah pula, cara yang lain pula.
You pegang kepala paip, babe. Buka, ada paip, ada air, semua boleh keluar.
Saya cakap dia ni bloom early. Umur dia kecil tapi pemikiran dia, I was surprised yang on one part you see them dengan orang pakai uniform, they just want your mistake. They want you to go through the consequences. On one part bila orang ni datang kat dalam, he talk to me, explain to me in his civilian, I saw the care and concern. Because why? They even cakap we can give you all this, you nak apa, you nak MMA, you nak silat, you nak apa, you name it. As long as we want to keep you occupied. Because they know during that point of time, I'm still vulnerable. Orang akan cari atau orang akan kasih. Diorang dah prepare untuk I pergi ni.
When they want to keep you for the better, do you think itu adalah kasih sayang?
Itu truly indeed lah. Kasih sayang, tapi kita tak biasa lah dengan orang-orang yang macam gini. Because to me, kalau kau pakai that uniform, kau sama je.
Betul.
Satu kita rasa macam ni fake macam kita lah.
When did you say yes? Because they came to you 6 months before.
Betul. To be honest, bila keluar, terbabit lagi satu kes.
Okay.
Bentan.
Okay.
So this mentor of mine ni, bukan budak baju yang datang, dia yang datang kat station. He's the one who show me he's genuine. He talk to the IO, dia cakap very openly yang this guy is under me. Dorang sanggup compromise with the head of division during that point of time. So Alhamdulillah lah, I was being put on PS. I nampak this person go all out untuk I. So daripada orang kata, daripada tak suka jadi suka lah. That relationship build. Macam dia ni apa ni, macam apa aku bikin dia ni sibuk Jadi aku keluar, dia macam ikut, dia doesn't give up. And even during that bazar Ramadanan, where are you? Are you coming down Bila I cakap aku tengah jalan aku tengah nak pergi bazar dengan
Bingit lah.
Dia pergi kelakar dia pop out. Tengah jalan kat bazar ni, dia pop out. Lepas tu dia cakap apa tau, I saw you. Apa ni? Dia kata, I saw you. Do take care. To be honest lah, dia kata ada operation. So benda tu happen, dapat kejar lagi, lalu je. Alamak, this whole group of civilian confirm lah. Because memang diorang nak jaga Cuba, I still macam,
do you think he's God sent? He's an angel?
Kalau orang tanyai pasal mentor, orang tanyai pasal who is that particular someone, he will be the first that I will mention.
So he changed you, or he cemented the fact that you will be the person that you're supposed to be now?
What he said to me was, cause we need to take care of our youth later together. So he always have that thing yang dengan diri dia yang I pula dihantar. I fikir mungkin dia dihantar untuk the change in me ataupun my life now. I pula dihantar as a living testimonial for the community juga.
Masa you dari kecil, you want someone to look at you, someone to believe in you.
Betul
It take you 20 years for someone to look at you and believe in you. You marah ke, you herdik dia, you maki dia ke, you tolak dia.
Macam tu.
Dia tetap pada situ. Sebab you doa, you want someone to look at you, Tuhan hantar dia lah.
Betul Actually betul
Be careful of what you wish for, betul kan?
Betul.
You minta like someone to look at me the way I'm supposed to be seen. He doesn't see you through the crime. He see you through your leadership and your influence. He believe that you akan hang dia tapi you takkan tangan dia.
Sebab we indeed pernah bertekak macam you mention, ngerdi apa cakap jangan kau bagus gini sampai dah macam gitu. Tapi Masya Allah, betul lah.
Perubahan yang berlaku sekarang ni, dia sebagai pencetus sajalah. Apa yang you lakukan bagi mereka yang dah keluar ni?
The same thing, what have happened to me 6 months before diorang keluar.
Oh, sekarang you masuk, you berbual lah.
Betul. I will be the one. You see, wah burung main the lesson and experience memanglah dah susun cantik lah. So I was there. Okay, orang kata been there done that. Sebelum kau pakai tu selipar, seluar pendek, baju, aku dah lalui tu life. Before kau dapat tu lantai, aku dah dapat bau tu lantai. So I come as a figure, leader dalam baju. I'm a leader and I want to guide you. With no uniform, just me, Makrif mentor. How can I assist you? One thing I akan cakap dengan orang, your problem is your problem. Okay, don't make your problem become my problem. Tapi if you can lay down your problem, kita boleh tahu which is luggage to go atau which is baggage to let go.
Let's talk about prejudices. Mana yang lebih susah? Dalam ataupun di luar?
Luar, bang.
Apakah antara perkara yang paling kesat yang Ai terima sebagai seorang manusia?
As we did mistake ataupun crime, I feel that bila kita release keluar, we are being sentenced by masyarakat. And the worst thing is kita punya masyarakat sendiri. Kalau orang bangsa lain keluar, we feel macam dorang ni ditebarkan kapet merah untuk start on with their life. Tapi kalau orang masyarakat Melayu kita keluar, kita rasa lagi dipijak, ditindas. Dia macam ada satu stigma macam kita ni sampah. Macam dia ni dah jatuhkan maruah. Keluarga atau maruah diri sendiri, ataupun just good for nothing memalukan.
Do you deserve to be treated like that?
Memang sepatutnya tidak. And that is why I feel that the journey yang Ai sekarang bawa watak sebagai Makrif mentor, I feel that I cannot let those fallen brothers and sisters yang akan melalui dalam terjaga, bang.
Betul.
Makan minum terjaga, everything are being occupied by their schedule. Tapi luar ni, dia ada benda-benda yang unexpected that can happen within a seconds. We don't talk about minutes, tapi kita bawa seconds. Where people can terus U-turn balik. I have interact with individual yang menyatakan, aku tak sepatutnya kat luar, aku rasa kat dalam lagi bagus. Aku tak sepatutnya keluar siang, aku patut duduk game. You know, because opportunity will be given to these people. Diorang boleh keluar program, they can go out for DRS, daily routine scheme where keluar kerja. Tapi masyarakat is a problem when they see gelang kat kaki, tagging. Orang dah cakap, perempuan, rambut pendek. Ini pagi-pagi bas turun Tampines je, ni tahu daripada Selarang budak-budak ni. You know, that kind of tone, attention they give kat interchange, kat public places.
Ajari kami how to look at you.
Go beyond skin, meaning interact. Bila kita tak do that interaction with any individu, kadang kita rasa mungkin dia more inferior, ada perbezaan. At the same time, kita menjatuhkan hukum sendiri yang macam dia ni good for nothing.
Prison yang kedua ni sebenarnya adalah dalam masyarakat sendirilah.
Betul.
Nak atasi ni senang tak?
Tidak. Even for myself personally to gain back the support. Alhamdulillah dengan adanya juga dunia social media, it still took me at least 2.5 years to be welcome back to the community.
What is the biggest pain in the 2.5 years?
One of it is rejection, where people will never be convinced dengan the life change yang you dah lalui atau portray.
Is it because of the way you look? Is it because of the ink? Is it because people know your history? What is it?
I gone through a phase where even when I go for ibadah kat one of the mosque, waktu wuduk tu, I dah kena kecam lah. Macam cakap, kenapa tak pergi ambil wuduk kat rumah lah? Kenapa datang masjid baru nak ambil wuduk? Dah tahu tangan tu macam gitu. Okay, mungkin I silap. Betul juga. Mungkin dia lagi faham lah. You see, I try to put others before me. So, okay lah, minta maaf lah. What happened next? Bila I nak pergi ambil wuduk kat masjid, I selalu akan masuk jamban. It makes me buat to action. Pasal kadang kita nak ambil wuduk daripada rumah, takut terbatal. So sekarang dah pernah kena tegur, pergi masjid, masuk yang tempat jamban, buka air sana, ambil daripada sana. Pasal tutup pintu orang tak nampak. So ingatkan that thing clear, habis. Takkan jadi cakap. Sekarang nak solat pula. Kita faham kalau kita boleh kerjakan saf depan atau lagi depan lagi baguslah, kefahaman lah. cubalah ni. Pergi depan, orang tolak belakang. Asal tolak belakang tattoo, nanti tak khusyuk. Masalah lagi. Habis saya nak pakai macam mana? Takkan terus nak pakai PPE kan? Tutup daripada atas sampai bawah. I will go right to the back, I solat. And even before I start solat, I tengok yang kiri kanan dah takbir, baru I bikin.
Is it fair tak?
Pun husnuzon juga lah.
Okay, baik. Kita berbaik sangka lah ya.
Kita berbaik sangka. Because I still say that I'm still learning and I'm still trying to get the betterment side of myself day by day. So, I took it as ini mungkin penerimaan lah. Ataupun ini mungkin a little bit of get back balik kat dunia ni. Kita pun tak tahu.
Do you think ini adalah cubaan untuk you menjadi lebih bersih jiwa?
InsyaAllah, I pun mohon macam gitu jugalah. Apart from that direction, tattoo lah. Bila dah fikir, wah nak solat macam gini. So, I make sure my niat tu betul. I decided to go for my tattoo removal lah, which I think I've shared some of my treatment in social media apa, because at the same time if it can be an education, I boleh macam barakan semangat orang-orang yang nak kembali fitrah. Of course lah, tak memudaratkan. They want to go my way, walk my path. I'm happy for them also lah. So I go for my tattoo laser treatment lah. As much as I go pun I was being stopped. Family members start to have concern, because we all know the more we go for our tattoo laser treatment, kita punya skin layer will be affected lah. So orang pakai, make sure jangan sampai memudaratkan, make sure it doesn't hurt you. Tapi initially bila I bikin gitu, I pun tengah cakap dengan diri I, do I do this at the end of the day because aku masih nak be in the community? Pasal anggapan masyarakat kita is dah baik, berubah, alhamdulillah. Tattoo bila nak buang?
Kejahatan yang dilakukan oleh orang tanpa tattoo ni kadang-kadang lebih teruk daripada mereka yang ada ink, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, done.
Dah.
So don't worry about it. Now, saya nak tanya dengan Ayi ni. Do you think you're a good person?
InsyaAllah, secara jujur, I'm a good person.
Adakah you fikir pintu taubat tu masih terbuka untuk orang yang pernah melakukan kejahatan?
Sejujurnya masih lah bang. Because apa yang I telah dipahamkan, Allah masih sayang lagi pendosa, tapi dia memang benci dosa. Segala baik dan buruk, kalau tak ada keinginan dia atau rahmat dia, benda tu tak akan jadi. There's this story juga, para sahabat yang I dengar. He have done so much. Orang cakap dengan dia, why don't you hijrah? Dia keluar daripada satu kawasan tu ke lagi satu kawasan, and bila he's done that, things change. And there's also satu sejarah juga, this particular person nak ditempatkan syurga atau neraka, dengan rahmat Allah, Allah goncangkan bumi itu jadi dia jatuh kepada yang tempat yang boleh masukkan dia kepada syurga. So I believe in takdir yang telah diberikan lah. Ada takdir yang baik, ada takdir yang buruk. Some people they go through buruk, and these people, they are also the chosen one. Tak ada failure, there is no courage, tiada jalan mudah. No path is easy lah.
What is the most powerful advice you received?
Allah sayang kita, Allah sayang kita, Allah sayang kita. Because why? When we mention about ingat Allah sayang kita, it have a personal touch. All those life obstacle ataupun dugaan yang kita lalui ni, walaupun dia ada perasaan takut, dia nak ingatkan kita, manusia tak akan ubah kalau dia tak nak ubah diri dia sendiri. Tapi kalau dia nak kembali fitrah, he is there to guide you.
With the way you were raised, dengan keadaan keluarga, dengan perpisahan keluarga, kemudian you lari rumah, proses you jadi seorang ketua pada usia muda, kemudian pemulihan. Do you think that you are chosen to guide those people to change?
InsyaAllah, yes. I believe yang there is no coincidence.
We all designed to meet. Dan saya juga amat berbesar hati sebab awak sudi bersama kami. I'm just so happy that our path finally cross today. Kami di KIC mendoakan agar awak berjaya dan semua benda yang awak akan lakukan untuk kebaikan yang lain memberikan kejayaan kepada kamu juga sebagai seorang manusia.
Alhamdulillah. Once again, I berterima kasih dengan pihak Abang Adi and also KIC for this humble invitation for me to step up and speak up. So I hope that the viewers ataupun followers lah yang mendengar boleh benefit lah. So that kita boleh mengukuhkan pula kita punya ukhuwah antara satu sama lain. And of course, I always believe yang apa-apa pun kita nak bikin, kita tahu niat kita, and innamal amalu binniat. InsyaAllah. And kasih sayang ayah ibu tu adalah kunci kita lah dalam setiap perjalanan.
Thank you so much.
InsyaAllah.
Till next episode for Keep It Coming, I'm Adi and you are with Marid Mentor Sahri Jumaat.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.